And here we are with a little bit of rock and metal music reviews. Cause I wanna rock! Oh yeah, we got a little bit of Twisted Sister, DeeSnider actually. We're gonna go over three albums. We got the old DeeSnider's new one here, Leave a Scar. I love the name of the album. That's very metal. Thorns from Tony Martin of Black Sabbath, who actually has more studio albums than Ozzy Osbourne, but is the least appreciated of the Black Sabbath vocalists. And we got KKsPriest. And we're going to play them back to back, just a little sample of each one, and I'll give you my little feedback of each and tell you how I ranked them in order and who comes out on top. Is it going to be D? Or is it going to be KK of Priest? That's the Priest mascot. Or is it going to be little old Tony Martin here down the middle, never getting enough appreciation? Well, maybe today he will. So here we are, ladies and gents. And here's our three albums. What are we going to start with? Let's start with the top. We got KKsPriest. Now we got Tim Ripper Owens singing for this. Now he sang starting in '97 for Judas Priest, starting out with a tribute band. They caught wind of it. They pulled him in. They liked him. He did two studio albums, a double live album, and went on to do many albums with Iced Earth and other bands. And started a good career. Jump started his career. Then he was asked to come back. When KK was kicked out of Priest. Well, actually, he retired. Then he decided he didn't want to retire, and they wouldn't have him back. So he said, "Well, fuck you. I'll do my own Judas Priest album." And he hired. He tried to get an original Judas Priest drummer, but that guy was too old and sick for the job, and pulled out at the last minute, but I like the drummer on here. And Tim Ripper Owens, I actually seen him in his tribute, Judas Priest tribute band. He was also in Wolfbane before or after that, but he did his Judas Priest tribute band. I saw him in New Jersey. I remember buying him a beer. It was the first time I bought a musician a beer while performing on stage. I went to the bar, got him a beer, because I loved his singing, his high notes. And I thought he was pulling it off great, and he welcomely accepted the beer, and we rocked out, and that was the only time I ever crossed paths with Tim Ripper Owens. I do believe I seen him live, in New York City once as well, with Judas Priest. Now, let's get a taste of, not the intro of the KKsPriest, but the first actual song, Hellfire Thunderbolt, Whoa, it starts out with a little KK ripping it up in the beginning, shredding it up on guitar. Well, let me tell you, this is the first song I heard off it. Came with a video, and I liked it. I loved it. I was like, oh shit, my original impression was, there's a scream. Oh! And I lost track of what I was going to say because I've been smoking a lot of pot these days, people. I don't recommend it. So just mail all your pot to me and I'll take care of that horrible shit for you. I'll burn it. I'll make sure it's all burnt and smoked, if you know what I mean. Well, there's a good Priest song right there. We're off to a good start. Well, it stays strong throughout. It stays Priest throughout. Well, that's what I want to say. This album is in direct competition with Judas Priest's last album, which was Firepower. And what the hell was it? Redemption of Souls or something before that? That was the first album without KK in 2015. Now here's KK coming back and saying, well, fuck you, I'm going to do it myself. And here you got a good drum roll, old school, that reminds me of the drummer that he tried to get involved. So he probably replaced him with somebody who drums like him. Oh, if I was in good voice, but not at the moment. But I am going to metal karaoke tonight make your request known at the bottom of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. So here you go. That's very strong. Got big, powerful openings. Oh, what the fuck out? What's going on now? What the hell's this whole bastard up to? You know, they get so addicted to the stage. Just as fans, we get just as addicted from out in the audience and having our memories growing up with these guys. They don't want to die. And I tell you what, every damn one of these bands that were ever around through the 80s are still around in some way today. I'm just going to darken the scene here a little bit. Don't mind me. We're going to have a quick change of lighting. I don't care for that lighting at all, folks. How about this? None of that sunlight bullshit. Now it's a little dark and moody. But in any case, yeah, so there's that, you know. I find this album to be somewhat, I'm not going to go through everything because I got 3 albums to go here. I know all these albums I've had for a few weeks already. I had plenty of time to absorb and take them in. And I'm telling you, this album comes off strong. First time you listen, you're all on board with it. Then a few more spins and you're like, this is very generic, very predictable. Being a little too safe about it, you know. Lyrics, you know, rudimentary, just childish in places. You know, even back then, they gave you stronger lyrics, you know. I just want to give you a close-up of that before I put it down, because I wipe this thing off. I draw it for real quick, just for every one of these sessions, and then you never see it again. So this is the only place you're going to see it. So there's that. So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of generic. I do like the artwork. You know, it is supposed to be KK under the monk's hood on there on the cover, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. But there you go. So now we're going to go into, ultimately I like the album, but it's just sort of generic and predictable. They played it safe, you know, but it's powerful. It just, you know, it isn't edgy and, you know, maybe a tad overproduced. But now this Tony Martin, I'm like, what? Tony Martin solo? Turns out Tony Martin has been doing his solo career for quite a while now and doing guest vocals on other projects and whatnot. Never really taking off outside of Black Sabbath. But here he is. Now let's check this out. Whoop. Wait, it just skipped because... Let's get... Well, that's the last song on there. So Tony Martin's... This is the opening track. Called Thorns is the name of the album. I can't read the writing on here. But right away, first thing I'll tell you about this album, you know, I started backtracking to some of his other solo stuff when I realized he had a solo career. And much of it's like this album. But I think this album got a lot more push, which got to my ears, got to my eyes online. Because this one's the most Black Sabbath return sound. You know, like he's returning to the Black Sabbath sound. And he also sounds quite a bit like Dio on this album, which he very much admires. But Dio didn't admire him in return. I never saw Tony Martin with Black Sabbath live. I didn't see Black Sabbath until they returned with Ozzy in the early 2000s. So this is very gothic rock, very heavy, very doomy. It has a couple fun, twisty songs. Now listen to that. Oh! Uh-huh! I'm gonna tell you all about it now. We're gonna get into that shit with you, bitch. That's how we do. Oh! Yeah! Now tell me that ain't Tony Iommi inspired. Maybe that's why Tony Iommi didn't ever quite like Tony Martin, because, well, we can't have two Tonys in the band. I just figured it out. Somebody be in touch with a record label. All right, so now listen to that. Are you listening to that? You buy this album because I'm telling you what, one of these is going to come out on top in this review, but they're all strong. You know, there isn't an '80s metal band that isn't still around today in some format. You know, you got Quiet Riot today. The only original member was Frankie Banali. The last two albums. Now they're working on a new album. The only original member is Rudy Sarzo, who came back after Frankie Banali left or died. And, you know, it'd be nice to have Carlos Cavazo back. But as long as the spirit of the band remains alive, I don't care if any of the original members still exist. As long as they were chosen by one of the original members to replace them, keep up the spirit, and, record new albums off the foundation of what made the band most popular and stick with that remedy, you know. So you got Thorns, you know, you got some good artwork. You got Tony looking great inside. He's always wearing a bandana over his head to probably show how bald he is now. Like Kevin Dubrow can never accept his balding. You got new Accept, you got new Wasp, Quiet Riot, DeeSnider, you know, Judas Priest, Motley Crue are around in some way or another. You know, it's just name the 80s metal band, and there's Rat. It's still around. You know, you got Stephen Pearcy solo stuff. You got Great White. You got Jack Russell solo stuff. You know, you don't have, you have LA Guns. You got two different LA Guns. You got two different Queensryche. It's crazy, but they're all still around today. I don't know for how much longer, but now we're going to get onto the new DeeSnider, and that is Leaving a Scar. Ooh, that's going to leave a scar, kid. Let me tell you. So let's freaking play with now, I'm fully familiar with all these albums. It starts off with I Gotta Rock Again. You gotta like that. Well, it's got a bit of this. It came out with an album before this about 2 years ago. Forgot the name of it. I bought that too, though. And it's got this more modern metalcore sound, and it came about when a bunch of these newer metalcore musicians got together and said, we should have DeeSnider sing for us, and we'll form an all-star metalcore band with DeeSnider singing. And that's basically what you got here is DeeSnider with these two albums. Metalcore, but this one gets back to, compared to the album that just came out before this 2 years ago, can't quite remember, and the name of For the Love of Metal was called. And you got, you got an all-star metalcore band here. But this one returns to the heavy metal of Twisted Sister days. A little bit. He felt a little bit. That album went over very well, as I recall. I liked it. But with this one, he stayed on that road, but brought back some of that Twisted Sister sound, which us old heads appreciated. And he read the audience right. He saw what we wanted. But we don't mind this newer metal sound, us guys in our 40s and 50s. Their first audience. Whoa! I'm gonna fucking knock my head off and fucking die in the middle of this video, land on the floor, because as you know I got a bullet lodged in my brain. And I could just die any minute, any day. Just need a good brain aneurysm and I'm out of here, people. And I'm not gonna miss a damn one of you. No offense, I love you all, but once you cross over, and I did it once already, I did it many times because I've had many lifetimes, as you may have as well. And you don't miss anybody but once you cross over. So there you go, a little spiritual tip. That's what to expect on the other side. And while we review DeeSnider's Leave a Scar, now we're on All or Nothing More. All or Nothing More. Now listen to that, just good, straight up, hard rocking. That's what you want. Drums I could fucking pull off any day as a drummer as well. But, just straightforward. Down but never out. I mean, we can never stop. And, down but never out, that's this one. Look the fuck out, it's going down now. Alright, then you got Before I Go, big opener, slow build up, You know it's going to be powerful. Kicks right in. Here we go. Yeah. See, now this is some of that more modern sound you got. Right? I think he blends it well with the old school. Oh, oh, oh. You know what I mean? It makes you do that. Doesn't it make you do that? I do that all the time when I jam. It's like the more robotic form, it's a little classier form of headbutting. You can just do this, but it's old school. I mean, that's passe. Now you do a little. That's the modern. That's the modern equivalent to headbang. Get with it. Start it. Make it a thing. And remember, who brought it to you? Subscribe right down there, kid. Maybe it's over there. The Eyes of Angels. That's a good song. Before I go, and you got a bunch of songs on here. Like most CDs, they have a few songs on there, and you can skip them and stop them and fast forward them. You gotta like that. That's a no-brainer. Comes with every CD, guaranteed, kid. Guaranteed. Now listen to that, straightforward, loving it. Now you have one track where you have the one guest artist is the lead singer from Cannibal Corpse, second lead singer. I'm more of a Chris Barnes fan myself, even that that he does these days. I still defend that. But yeah, the new guy, the Target shopper, goofball. He sleeps with a million stuffed animals, yet he's got no neck. You know, he's got a neck about as thick as his back, and big goofy guy. You know, but I do like his vocals, but not a lot of variety. But he's on this album on Time to Choose. Time to Choose. So here you go. You got 3 albums. Which one's gonna make the best of the heap? Well, for me, the rundown is looks like Tony Martin is eating KK, and who's gonna eat it's Tony Martin. Maybe it's because he's got the bigger, wider mouth and he wins, not because the music's any better. I don't know. Decide for yourself. But I do like the you got the thorns, you got the Christian religious connotations going on the cover, and I do appreciate that as a born again Christian myself of 5 years or so, and even this, this one's got what does that say? Priest on there. I don't see any crosses, but the monk suit makes you think somewhat. And no crosses on the cover of DeeSnider's. You might have something of a pentagram there, kind of broken up, but that's questionable at best. So I don't know. I think they're all quite equal. I really can't put one on top of the other. How you like that? I led you to believe I was gonna like one over the other, and I don't. I don't like any of them as greatly as I like any of their old master classics, but I do appreciate that they're still putting out there. I still think they're putting out significant, music that stands up next to any of the more current bands, and even outdoes them, I think, because the new sound, you can have greater talent today, but they're wasting it away on these shit sounds, trying to go with trends rather than be true to themselves, like they did back in the day with these old heads. So there you go, folks. D, Tony, and KK. They battled it out to the death, and all 3 of them died. So they're old enough to die. So what do you say there, Morbius? Here you go, Morbius. You didn't think Morbius wasn't going to show. What do you say about these 3 albums? Morbius, wherever his webbed paws land, is going to be the best of the 3. Here we go. Oh, it looks like it's KK. Who knew? Who knew? I didn't see it coming. It must be KK. Morbius says it's definitely KK. Morbius says, fuck this DeeSnider shit. Get it the fuck out of here. Get out of here. This has been Razor Wrecker Ray, making sure that you're fucking well informed on the metal of today. And as we entered this video, we shall leave but the same way. You stupid motherfuckers. SMF.